Hi everybody and welcome to another video. Now I've been wanting to do a video about my settings for Euro Truck Simulator 2 for quite a while, and at last I've got round to doing one. So what I'm going to be covering today is my settings, but also my favourite mods as well on the game. It uses Steam mods, it doesn't use the Pro mods, so just bear that in mind. So all the mods can be downloaded from Steam. Well, you set them up on the website, and then it automatically syncs up when you come onto Geforce now. But these settings and the mods will apply equally to PC as well. So either Geforce now or PC, it doesn't really make any difference. So first of all, let's have a look at the options, which is just here, and these are my graphic options. So now bear in mind I'm on the highest tier of Geforce now, which is the RTX 3080, and that gives you 4K and 60 frames per second or even higher on some games. So just bear that in mind. If you are on lower tier, then you'll probably need to be dropping these settings somewhat to get a nice stable picture. If you're on PC, then obviously that depends on what kind of PC setup you've got, your graphics card, etc. So, but my personal settings are these. So, full screen mode, don't want it to be windowed. I've got the brightness around about halfway. Not sure I touched it, to be honest. As you can see there, it's 3840 by 2160, 16 by 9. You can have various different options there, but that's the one I'm on. So it gives me 4K, 59 Hertz refresh rate. Now it does this every time you start the game, where it for some reason disables vertical synchronization, and it's best, I've found generally speaking, to have that on. So you just need to come into the settings, and if you just keep disabling it itself, then just come back in and re-enable it. So I've re-enabled that. Advanced graphical settings, so I've just got these on simple really. The scaling is 100%, anti-aliasing on high, and screen space ambient occlusion on high, and then depth of field I've got ticked, sun shafts I've got ticked, and colour correction are ticked. Reflection scaling on 100%, and vegetation detail, reflection detail on high, I should say. Vegetation detail high. In fact, all those on high, apart from shadow quality, that's on ultra. Shadow texture size high. Weather quality ultra. Mirror quality high. Mirror resolution high. Mirror distance high. Texture quality high. Anisotropic filtering, that's on full lot. Normal maps is ticked. Traffic headlights ticked. Secondary vehicle lights ticked. Light visibility ranges high, and pedestrians are also ticked. So like I said, just to reiterate, this is on the RTX 3080. So if you're playing on a smaller graphics card, then you'll need to adjust certain things to suit. So that's what I've got set up in the graphics section. And in my audio, I think I turned the master volume down slightly because I was just finding things just a little bit too loud. And I think I either did that and or turned the truck engine down, etc. But to be honest, most of these are going to be very subjective, so it's up to you what levels you want to put them at. There's nothing really much else I can say in this section apart from I don't tend to have my radio on. Voice navigation volume, so got that set to just over half. CB radio volume full, so if you're playing with any friends on multiplayer, convoy. And then We have music volume, which doesn't really apply in the cab because I've got the radio turned off anyway. Game sounds volume about halfway. I think these are all on default anyway, to be honest. Enable voice navigation, yes, because I use a sat nav. I've got English Sky UK because I'm in the UK. Obviously, you can choose a different one if you're in the US or Spain or wherever you tend to live. I'm sure there'll be a language for you somewhere. And voice preview, which to be honest, oh yes, of course, that's what that is. It's just previewing the voice you've chosen. And speed warning, I've got on just to give a bit of a beep to warn me that I'm breaking the speed limit. On to CB radio. So again, this is for talking to your friends. So voice over noise, didn't want that. It tended to get in the way, I find. Roger beep, got that. Overriding income Roger beep, unticked. Roger beep sound, again, entirely up to you. Just depends on what you want. You can preview it. In fact, it's not actually doing anything, is it? I don't know why that is, but I don't know. Unless it's a sound that doesn't actually sound. No, can't hear that either. I don't know on that one then. Or is it because... Well, it's probably because I've got that unticked, isn't it? Is it? Let's have a look. Let's just try that. No, that's not working either. So I don't know on that one. Don't know. Doesn't seem to be working that. But anyway, that's the settings I have, and I'm happy with that. Backup beeper ticked. Rumble stripes ticked. So that's the edge of the road generally, I think, where there's a kind of rumble strip and it makes a kind of vibrating noise as you go over it. Open windows noise ticked. Noise of flowing air. Not entirely sure what that's governed by. So if you untick open window noise, you can then tick the flowing air on or off. Yeah, okay. So obviously, if you tick that, I think that is defaulted to being on, isn't it? Reverb effect of the cabin ticked. Reverb effect of the environment ticked. And play sound when the game is in background. I've got that unticked. And the audio driver is just the system default. So on to gameplay. So the choice of background is again subjective. It's entirely up to you. You can choose to have it random or just stick to one. Desktop fade out delay 60 seconds. Fatigue simulation I've got on. Traffic offences I have on. Preferred job length I've got around about halfway. Thank you, Chester. That's my dog just having a shake. Route advisor speed limit. So yeah, show truck limit. Route advisor speeding warning ticked. Automatic parking dialog ticked. Keep route advisor hidden unticked. Heavy cargo warning screen ticked. Map alignment north locked. Show navigation always. Navigation mode. Now this depends on what I'm doing really. So if I am wanting to just take a scenic route, I will choose small roads. Or perhaps shortest. But if you've got a long journey and you wanted to keep it more to motorways or highways, then you're probably better off choosing best. So it really depends on what sort of journey you want on that one. So I tend to use either small roads or best. I tend to find they're the better ones to use. I have used shortest in the past. The jury's still out on what I think about it. It's I don't know. It doesn't seem to change an awful lot to me. I don't know. Compared, I think best and shortest tend to be pretty similar. I don't know. Comment if you like in the comment section, and let's hear your views on it. Where are we? Show navigation. North lock best. That's it. We're up here, weren't we? So parking difficulty always select. So I tend to choose the more difficult one. But it's nice to have the option just in case you're in a bit of a rush. So I've got that as selected to always select. Random road events. So I did up that a little bit. I think it was somewhere down here on default. So I kind of doubled that again to put it about there. So it's what, probably about a fifth or a sixth of the way up, isn't it? Detours, I think I left on default, but they're just under halfway, about a third perhaps. Rain probability, I did up that a little bit. Again, that was somewhere down here, and I just found that it wasn't raining enough for what I wanted. I do live in the UK, and we do get a lot of rain here. So I thought, yeah, let's up that a little bit. So I think I did similar to the random road events. I think I kind of doubled the amount. Time zones disabled. Show cutscenes, yes. Show blockers disabled with caution. I've just left that ticked. And invert mouse, I haven't done that, but again, that's a personal thing. So transmission type, because I play on Gamepad, this is an important point to raise. I'm not playing on a steering wheel. Part of the point of my channel is playing games as much as I can on Gamepad, including driving games, because a lot of people don't have a steering wheel, and I don't have room for one. I used to have a steering wheel at one bit, but I haven't got one now. I haven't, because I play in my living room, I don't have a lot of room for a steering wheel, and it was a lot of messing about when I did have one, getting it out to set it up and then having to put it away again. So as I said, that's part of the reason for my channel, and one of the USPs I'm trying to create around it is trying to play even driving games just on controller, which I know a lot of people do, and that's how I like to play. So I've just got it on a simple automatic. Obviously there are other options you can have. You can have real automatic. In fact, a mate of mine plays it on real automatic, but I've just tended to leave it on simple because I am. Smart sequential shifting, so I've left that to off. Steer auto center, so left that on. Steering animation range, so to be honest I can't remember whether I changed any of these, but you can see what they are anyway if you just wanted to go through them, take a screenshot or something. So steering animation range is just below half, brake intensity is about half. Truck stability is full, trailer stability is full, drive shaft torque is down at 0, and suspension stiffness full, cabin suspension stiffness full, advanced trailer coupling unticked because I don't want to be messing about with that. Trailer cables, I've got both player and all traffic trailers, and truck speed limiter I've got ticked. Rain sensor ticked. I didn't have that ticked at one bit, but I do quite like the idea. I mean, most modern vehicles now have rain sensors, so I thought, no, I'll have that ticked. So if you've got 3 settings on that. So the first click is automatic, I think. The second click is slow speed, and the third click is fast. So you do have to turn it on, but once it's on, you can just leave it, and it will start and stop depending on if it's raining or not. Automatic engine braking ticked. Automatic engine electricity start ticked. Because I'm on Gamepad, it just makes things a bit easier. Automatic parking brake engage ticked, and automatic drop of liftable axles is ticked. Air brake simulation unticked. Realistic fuel consumption ticked. And cruise control grid step, I've got 5k or miles per hour. Smart cruise control I've got at 5k, 3 miles an hour. Automatic blinker turn off ticked. Cabin accessory physics ticked. And camera settings, let me just get down to them. There we go. So steering camera rotation is unticked, and steering camera rotation factor is about halfway. Steering camera rotation on reverse is normal. Blinker camera rotation unticked. Physical camera movement ticked. Physical camera movement factor is about halfway. Interior camera horizon locking factor about halfway, and I've got language as English United States actually there, but it doesn't make an awful lot of difference, to be honest. I don't think there's a UK anyway, but we'll just have a quick look. But no, that's probably why I've got it set to US. So, well, in fact, there is English though, isn't there? So yes, I could take that. Bearing in mind I am English. So, region presets we've got set to custom, and then we've got localized city and country names ticked. Show secondary names in map ticked, and we've got display currency the British pound. 24-hour clock notation ticked. Length of units kilometres. Now, you might think, why have I not got miles? But bearing in mind it's mostly set in mainland Europe, this game, so I've just thought I may as well just leave it on kilometres, to be honest. It's just easier. All the signage and everything's in kilometres, so I may as well just leave it on that. Kilogram and tons kicked. Kicked. Ticked. And temperature Celsius. Volume units litres. Because fuel seems to be sold in litres in most places now, probably apart from the US where you'll have US gallons, I suppose. Consumption units default, and then I've got chat settings. Open chat with activate. I've got ticked, and close chat input after sending the message unticked. Show chat on the navigation page ticked. Fade chat completely on the navigation page ticked. Chat fade delay on the navigation page 5 seconds. Convoys, loads of settings, isn't there? There it really is. It's probably going on a bit too long, this video, but we will see. Enable name tags unticked, and then configure quick replies. You can do quick replies on the chat if you like. So that's all that one. As regards my keys and buttons, so I have had a play around with these, and the primary is the keyboard, and the secondary, the primary is my, wait a minute, let's have a quick look. The throttle on the gamepad is listed like a keyboard, so it's got the WSAD there, also throttle, the steering and the brake as well. So it's a little bit confusing, but that's just how it lists it. But this is definitely the throttle here. The gamepad here, and that is the keyboard. So the throttle and the brake and the steering is on the gamepad. Then you've got shift up, shift down. Well, that's just automatic anyway, so it doesn't really make any difference unless you're playing in a slightly different mode, which I'm not. So they don't apply to me. I'll just go down this column first, and then we'll have a quick look at the keyboard one. So this is all the gamepad, remember. So Joy hat switch up, I think that's the D-pad, and it tends to list it as different things. So yeah, I've got start stop engine on D-pad up, and then left turn indicator is on the left button and right indicator on the right button. Light modes are on the D-pad left. You see now, it lists it D-pad there. So it's a little bit confusing. So it says D-pad there, but then when you go further up, it says hat switch. So it can get a little bit confusing, but that's definitely the let me just go back again. Yep. Let's just recap. So I'm just getting a bit confused myself. So engine is up on the D-pad, and then we have light modes, which is left on the D-pad. That's correct. And high beam headlights is down on the D-pad. So that's the D-pad again, which is down. And then air horn is clicking the right stick, I think it is, that one. And wipers is on D-pad right. And then cruise control is the X button, because I'm on a Xbox controller, by the way. And then route advisor mouse control is route advisor mouse control. Not quite sure what I'm using that for, to be honest. So I can't really help you on that. Oh yes, I know what that is. So when you've chosen the sat nav, uh, it's the joystick you can then use to move your arrow around like a cursor. That's basically what that is. So that's that one. And then interior camera is that's the B button. And then zoom interior camera is clicking the left button, I think. May have got those the wrong way around, but it's basically click for horn on one stick and click for the interior camera on the other stick. Okay, it's difficult trying to remember what I've done, to be honest, when I'm just talking about it and not actually playing the game. But I mean, obviously, you can swap and change those around to your heart's content. You may not want to follow my exact setup. So to activate is the A button, and the menu is the start button. And then what else have we got? We've got push to talk, which I've got that button is actually button Y. So I've got that to talk to anybody else if I'm in a convoy. And that's basically it for the joypad. And then on the keyboard, not really changed an awful lot on this apart from Windows, which if I can find them for you. So, because I think most of them are just basically default. And I'll just try, yes, there we go. So I've got open right window as the down key, close right window up key, and then to keep it simple and keep them close together, I've got open left window, left key, and close left window, the hash key. Okay, so also should I say slash key? And I think they're the only ones I changed. I don't think I changed anything else. Because as I said, there's only certain things that I need the keyboard for. So horn perhaps is one. But yeah, I think that's about it, to be honest. So that's it for keys and buttons. Controls. So now, if I had a quick question actually from somebody on the comments, and they said their controller's not working on Euro Truck Simulator 2, then I suggested to them just go through the wizard. If you go through the wizard, I'm not going to do it now, but that's the input wizard there. So if you use the wizard and just follow the wizard, it will hopefully set up your controller again or any other accessory you've got if you lose it. So just try going through that if it doesn't work. And as you can see, it's calling my Xbox Gamepad X Input Gamepad 1, and I'm also using the keyboard as well. And it says there controller Xbox 360 for Windows, and then there's nothing else. So quick setup of the gamepad steering wheel. So controller subtype gamepad and joystick, well, gamepad stroke joystick. Transmission simple automatic. Adaptive automatic transmission is disabled. Brake sensitivity I've got set to, I think I just up that slightly. So that's where I've got it set there. It's probably about a third of the way up. Or, no, not a third, about a fifth of the way up, I should say. Steering non-linearity, I did reduce that a little bit. I think it was round about here, the steering linearity. So I did actually reduce that slightly from what I remember. And then we've got force feedback ticked, although on an Xbox gamepad it doesn't make any difference because it doesn't vibrate. Overall gain is set to about halfway, and then centering, well, they're all grayed out anyway, you can't really do much about them. Terrain surface vibration again doesn't really apply to me, any of those vibration ones, but if you do want them, then the default to halfway anyway, but you can adjust them to what suits you. That's obviously moving left and right because I'm moving my left stick, so that's showing you the input. Steering axis dead zone got set to just a tad up there like that. Steering axis mode is centered. Acceleration axis I should say, is the joy RT, so right trigger, that will be. So it's just basically going through what, if you go through the wizard, this is what it will give you. I've not changed really any of this, apart from one or two of the sliders, as I said. But all the button mapping and everything will be what the wizard gives you. So just follow through with the wizard, and you've just more or less got it cracked, to be honest. So that's all my settings. So let's quickly have a look at my favourite mods then. So if I go into the mod section, and we'll see what mods I'm using. Now some of these are greyed out, but I've kept them on because I just basically want to keep them there just in case I want to re-enable them again. But the mods I've actually got set now are realistic vehicle colours, so that will change the colours of the vehicles to a bit of a more realistic tone, and they are colours relative to certain manufacturers, so you know, BMW colours, Volvo colours, etc, etc. I've also got Xenon 10,000K lights, so they will give it a nice white light. Now, if you like your yellow lights, your more old-fashioned looking yellow lights, then don't have this mod, but I quite like the bright white LED lights, so that's another one I've used. And realistic building lights, this one basically in the standard game, the default setting is all the lights in the windows tend to be all the same brightness, but what this does is it dims some of the lights down a little bit, so it just makes it a little bit more realistic looking. And I've been through a few mods on Steam, and these are the ones that I've sort of come to know and love. So realistic truck effect sounds speaks for itself really, so that's a nice mod to have. Realistic headlights, that kind of, if you look at the bottom there, you've got kind of shapes on the tarmac, so like your headlights would give off sort of lighter areas and darker areas, so you get like patterns on the road surface, so that's what that does. Realistic flares gives you a bit of a flare around the headlight, so it's like that dazzling effect, if you like. We've got real gas stations, so this will give you real names on gas stations, so you know, some of the big oil companies like Shell perhaps, or Total and companies like that. So we've got realistic traffic, so what this does is it just makes the traffic a little bit more realistic, supposed to sort of, I think, give you busier traffic when you expect it to be busy. Now I have found it to be lately I seem to be having more traffic at night time. Whether that's to do with there's been a couple of updates in the game, and whether that's had an effect on it or not, I don't know. I might have to disable it and re-enable it or something, see if it makes a difference. But yeah, you seem to get no traffic at 12 o'clock midday, and then when it gets to like 3 o'clock in the morning, it's really busy, so it just seems to have got messed up a little bit. Scratches on the windscreen, the jury's out about this. It's not a bad mod, it's quite a good mod. It just puts basically scratches on your windscreen, not bad scratches, just little marks here and there. For me, I just felt it, I don't know, it just didn't really add much for me personally, but you know, it's a good mod, it's okay, and I've kept it just in case I want to use it again. So BMW traffic pack, so there's one or two BMW cars in that pack, which I thought was nice to just add. Now I did download this one, GTA traffic. At first I thought it would add a bit of difference to the traffic, but I don't think it's for me. The sounds in it are too arcadey sounding. I mean, it is true to GTA, to be honest, but I think the problem with that is GTA is an arcade game and this is a sim, so the sounds of the cars don't really fit in. The looks of the cars are a little bit gaudy, I suppose, but you know, you do get pimped up cars going around the place, don't you? But it was more the sounds for me that was the problem, so I've disabled that just for now. Minimal advisor interface. To be honest, I can't remember what that one does. Let's have a look at the information on that one. So, changes the advisor panels in the game by adding a bottom info bar and replacing the navigator screen. Oh, that's it. So, yeah, so when we talk about sat nav here, so it's basically where it will put something either at the top, you can choose this, either at the top of the screen or you can have it at the bottom of the screen. And it's just a little bit of info, just on one line kind of thing. And it will give you how much fuel you've got, what your sleep status is, and how many miles you've got to go, the time of day, etc., etc., etc. And it's just basically what your sat nav HUD will give you. But I like to turn the sat nav HUD off because it's more realistic that way. And this just gives you that same information, but it's not in your face like the sat nav HUD is. So that's what that one does. And then we've got sound fixers, just general sound fixers pack, which is quite popular. And we've got the trailer pack, Sissel's trailer pack, which is quite popular, and also the mega pack cabin accessories. So they're good. And then we've got, let's go back this way, we've got the mega pack customization from Sissel. So let's just have a quick look at that. It's tuning parts and interiors, so that deals with that. We've then got realistic rain. Now, I was trying this one and cold rain, and I've decided that for me, I do slightly prefer cold rain. It gives you this kind of more misty kind of look, colder look, like again more in the UK what we get. So. But again, it's quite subjective. I'm not saying realistic rain's bad. It's a good mod. But for me, I just slightly prefer the cold rain one. So that's the one I've gone for. And of course, I've not got them both activated because that would tend to mess things up. Realistic mirrors. So that just gives you a little bit more convection on the, is that right? Is that the right word? Yes, it's convex, isn't it? The mirror glass is convex to give you a wider field of view. So this increases that a little bit over the stock mirrors. It just allows you to see that a little bit more. So it's a bit, like I said, it's realistic. I'm not so sure that the stock mirrors are particularly realistic. So that just gives you a bit of a wider field of view. We've got real traffic density. So again, I think this one does work with the other one, but it just makes the traffic a little bit more dense. I think the other one deals more with the time of day, or supposedly, and this one, well, let's just have a look actually. Let's go backtrack to that. Let's have a look, see what it says in there. I'm interested to reread it myself. Not only increases the density of the traffic, but also changes its behaviour to create a busier and more fluid experience. So yeah, I suppose there's a chance that probably the reason I'm having problems with the traffic is that it's clashing a little bit. So I may just have a look at disabling this other one and see if that is what the problem is. So this one says a realistic traffic density mod per daytime and by type of road, exactly as we find naturally in Europe. So they're probably doing the same thing, and it's probably not a good idea to have them both on. So I may disable one of those or experiment and see which one I prefer. Heads-up display, that's supposed to do as it says in the picture there, but I don't know. It just wasn't for me. Let's put it that way. It works, but it just wasn't for me. We've already mentioned Cold Rain, which is a really good weather app. We've then got AI traffic cars from American Truck Sim, so that's quite good because you do get American cars in Europe, and it's just nice to have a few different cars knocking about. Realistic truck physics, which will give you more realistic truck physics with regards to how the truck moves around when you're driving it, etc. And real fuel prices, so these fuel prices will change dependent on the current climate, as it were. And then we've got real European companies, so that's a very good app. So that will give you all these companies and probably more. So it's nice to see, it makes it that bit more realistic with the trailers that you see knocking about with proper names on them. And then we've got the Google Maps voice, so that will give you voice navigation, and not you, so you don't just you're not just looking at your sat nav. You can also hear it speak to you as well, like a real sat nav would. And then, just in case anybody's interested, this is my load order here. So I'll just move that out of the way. I'll let you take a picture of it if you like, and I'll move it down. So we'll come down to there. Probably need 3 pictures, or just freeze the video just to catch it, and then we'll move it down that little bit further just to catch them bottom 2 or 3. So that's the load order that I've got. So that's about it. We've gone through the settings, or my settings, and my favourite mods off Steam. Just remember that the Pro mods on Geforce now won't work. Only Steam mods will work, but there's plenty of Steam mods to have a play about with. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, and also please subscribe to the channel for more sim gameplay and stuff like that. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.